A quick email check and a couple of messages sent before heading on from Millionary, Pierre Springs, and the terrain at this point was pretty rough and rocky.
Where are you heading to today?
Is it Well 10? Well 10. Well 10.
A bit further up the track, we ascended the first sand dune. Was this actually worth putting the sand flag on for? We'll see.
Easy sand.
Cresting sand dune? Entering Glen Isle Station, we made our way towards Ngumpa, Well 7, navigating through the total maze of tracks around it. Without GPS, it would probably be a whole lot harder to find. The well had collapsed, but there was water near ground level, forming a biohazardous green sludge pit. Definitely not one for the drinking, this one. Pressing on from there, we hit every single tree on the right hand side with the sand flag, and it wasn't long before the inevitable happened.
There you are.
Thank you. I think we're just going to leave the flag off that until we really get into the...
Good plan.
Kunpa, Well 8, was another dry well, the hole still being there but with no water in it.
Didn't sound like water.
Snell put a windmill and a tank on this one in his 1929 expedition, but it no longer remains. So Lake Aerodrome's just after like Well 12 if we want to keep going.
And then just chill out there for a bit.
Yeah, we can do that instead, but let's see how late we get to Well 10.
Yeah, and what it looks like.
Sounds like a plan, so we headed on, refraining from reattaching the flag to the sand flag before the foliage becomes more sparse. We took a short detour towards Canning Bore, a small stockyard with a windmill pumping groundwater into an overflowing tank. I'm not sure why this is marked on our map, or what the significance of it is.
Yeah, so these gates are a lot like your supermarket trolley ones. But so you've got an entry and an exit, but they've got the chains on them so that when they're wanting to collect the must of the cattle, you just put the water in, the cattle will come to the water.
And then
lock the
get
exit
trapped.
gate.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a cow trap.
Yeah, it's a cow trap.
We headed back to the main track and continued towards the next well. There were a few dips in the track, but not as big as the one we previously had. This one left us in no danger of scraping, but it's probably best passed over slowly. Palachi, Well 9, otherwise known as Weld Springs, is a place with a lot of history. For many of the Matu people, this was the place they first had contact with non-indigenous people, and it wasn't always friendly. These are the ruins of a hut John Forrest built for protection after an altercation with the tribe, believed to have started after their objection to his group being present during a ceremony at the springs. The well here is pretty much dry due to the stockyard's windmill pump bringing the groundwater up as quickly as it can appear, and there's no camping here due to the stockyard. We had lunch and headed on. This is also the location of another entry or exit through Glen Isle Station. Well 10 is dry, and so is the area around it. Aside from some scrap metal and broken car parts, there's very little to see here, so we fire up the drone again. This one was also the recipient of a tank and a windmill by Snell, which has also gone missing. This well was notable as it was known by the drovers as the Lucky Well. Coming from the north, the worst parts of the route are over, and from here all of the wells are closer together. Of course, for us going the other way, it actually means the opposite. But on the other hand, we don't have 100 head of cattle with us. North of here, after a whole lot of corrugations, we passed the second sand dune. We hadn't seen much yet, but there was certainly more to come. We then reached an area known as Panju, Gandhari and Goodwin Soak, which is the site of well 11. There's a hole, some scrap metal, some remains of a trough, and an information sign that's very sun-faded. We passed the north end of Lake White and the country changed somewhat. The hard rock was largely gone, giving way to soft sand and more dune crossings. Pressing on towards Lake Aerodrome, we went in search of a spot to camp by the lake. Eventually we found a good spot and set up camp, deciding to do a bit of mechanical work. We moved the sand flag from being in the corner of the bull bar to being closer to the centre. This puts it more into the driver's field of view, but will reduce the extent to which it's being dragged through any foliage on the track. Then we took the roof rack down and tightened every bolt and nut in it. The rack had been making horrendous creaking noises despite being well below the maximum weight. Every single nut and bolt was loose. A quick check of the wheel nut torque showed that the same didn't happen to these nuts, so we put the roof rack back on the vehicle and watched the sunset. Taking a look at the Salt Lake from a nearby hill, we then decided to go for a short walk out onto the lake. The name of Lake Aerodrome originates from Snell's reconditioning expedition, where the lake was identified as a potential aircraft landing site.
Roger. I'll contact you later today. VK5QI, VK3FUR.
We then headed towards well 12 via more dune crossings. Well 12 has been rebuilt as of 2003, with Canning's grandson even coming along to help. Continuing over more dunes, we came to a landmark on the map, the burnt-out Land Rover. Clearly it's seen better days, but in times gone by this would have served as a landmark that you're almost at well 13, Palperumal. Not that there's much of it left though.
Well, actually,
Strangely, although the bucket remains, the hole doesn't. After having lunch and inspecting the underside of our vehicle, we departed towards Jinchamal, well 14. This one was also reduced to a shallow ditch and had a tree that had grown through the stock trough.
Noah's Camp flooded out 2022/784 Hilux plus 3 Subarus.
After learning a little local history, we took a short detour to the top of a hill identified on the map only as Lookout on Hill. Well, it was a lookout, and it was on a hill. It doesn't take much elevation to see a very long way out here, and this was no exception. After passing abandoned trailer, we shortly arrived at Manjanka, well 15. This well was fully reconstructed in 1998, and then again partially in 2016.
It's got a bit of a mineral taste to it, like Adelaide tap water.
Having some water in this spot, we set up the shower again.
Is it warm enough?
it's warm enough. It's plenty warm. This is really warm.
Nice.
And then performed the nightly HF schedule.
But more specifically, a motorbike drove past.
Hang on, a motorbike drove past. What? From where?
Yes and yes.
ZL4KYH, VK3CLR, what a pleasure it is. Hi Spotty Cat, over to you.
I wondered if we wanted to get some photographs sent through. Did you want to try that again? Over.
Once the wind died down, a strong smell of rotting decay filled the air. Despite all efforts to locate it, the source was not found.
Yeah, it's solid ice.
You'd think that being in a desert it'd be hot and dry year round. But no, it can actually get pretty cold, especially at night.
So the power delivery charger braking isn't critical because you can charge slowly overnight with the 5-volt USB cable.
So, pre-start checks. Check the CV boots are undamaged, steering linkages unbent. Check the bash plates and Anderson connector are intact. Check the battery indicates okay. Check that the radiator isn't clogged with spin effects. Check the brake and power steering fluid levels. Check the radiator coolant level. Check the engine oil level. Check that all 4 tyres are unpunctured and about the right pressure. And then just take a look under the back, check everything's still attached, nothing's hanging or loose. Check that again at the front. And then finally turn the steering wheel the other way and check the steering and suspension components on the other side are okay. And then we headed out of there towards another landmark.
Murray Rankin and two friends left Wiluna in July 1974 to walk the CSR to Halls Creek. The trolley was not very well suited to sand, and Rankin abandoned the walk. In 1976, Rankin, together with Kathy Berman and Rex Shaw, set out from Bilooluna to walk to Wiluna. Rankin and Shaw completed that journey successfully. So basically they set off from where we set off on foot, and this is where they gave up.
From there, another change of traditional owner and some more sand dunes. Lawa Lawa Well 16 was interesting. The top had sunk into the ground, but not much of the hole remained. It was most certainly dry though. This well was known to provide poor quality water, so it was not a target for reconstruction at any point. With not much to see there, we headed on until coming to a fork in the track. This is the turn-off for Kalpi, the Calvert Ranges, a formerly popular area with huge amounts of Aboriginal rock art. Unfortunately, not all who visited respected the area and the art, and access has been indefinitely closed until they work out how they can manage it. Continuing on, we soon reached the base of the hill containing Canning's Cairn and ascended for a look at it. From the top of this hill, using a handheld radio, we made very brief contact with another group as they were cresting a dune. According to the location they gave, they were just short of 100 kilometers away. They were heading northbound, so we wouldn't meet them head on, but they were the first other people we'd heard in a while. This cairn was built at this point, because here it was difficult to see exactly where the stock route went. We stopped for a photo in front of the picturesque Durbar Hills, then carried on towards Durbar Springs, our planned early finish for the day. Well 17, Jilukuru, is an extremely sacred place to the Matu people, and access to it has been recently discontinued. I'm not sure if this is temporary or permanent, but we continued on. The drovers usually didn't stop here either, because the gorge around this spring is too narrow to get a large number of cattle into. A short distance later, we reached Pinpi, Durbar Springs. This stunning jewel of a picturesque campsite is very incongruous with the rest of the surrounding area, featuring grass, water, a grove of gum trees, and other assorted greenery. It feels like a caravan park compared to the rest of the Canning, and we're going to spend 2 nights here. We'll continue this in the next segment of our adventure, but until then, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and see you next time.